This is Baxter Colburn, host of Verse of the Day. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hey, this is Lee.
And this is Chelsea.
And we are the host of your new favorite sales podcast, See Jane Sell.
Join us every Thursday for a new episode where we will tackle the realistic world of sales and maybe teach you a thing or two along the way.
You can subscribe to See Jane Sell on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, CastBox, and Spotify. Thanks, and enjoy the following podcast on Public House Media.
What is up, Rewritten crew? It's Julianne Condia, your host of Rewritten. Thanks for tuning in. You know I appreciate it, and I am excited to talk about fear. And I don't know, lately I've just been really thinking about why are people so afraid to go for it? What is stopping them? I just even think about with my business, it's all about self-care, fitness, nutrition, linking arms with the most incredible people, being able to have the total solution. And I just think, why don't people want to do this? What is the big holdup? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized I needed to ask the question. And so I, on my Instagram stories, asked, what is the biggest thing that holds you back? What's your biggest fear? And there were two I picked because in my thinking and just experience and what I've been through and had to deal with, I narrowed it down to these two fears that I truly believe are the reason so many people do not go for their dreams. They don't actually follow their heart. They don't build the life that they want. They stay stuck, complacent, frustrated, mediocre. So these two fears are these. The fear of failure, which for sure I've been there. And then the fear of judgment. And that one stabs me. I don't know why that one specifically, maybe because fear has to do more, they both have to do with what you think personally, but I feel like fear is more of your own thing. And then the fear of judgment, you're literally not doing something because of someone else. And it breaks my heart. Recently, I was reading in my book, is that life changes when we begin to view failure as an experience rather than an endpoint. When we view rejection as a redirection, just because something doesn't go as planned does not mean you have failed. Don't view a plot twist as a reason to close the book on your dreams. Successful women know that the more times they fail, the stronger, wiser, and more seasoned they become. This may sound totally crazy, but sometimes I ask the universe to let me fail. When things feel too easy, I invite a challenge into my life because I believe that challenges are where our biggest lessons live. Failure gives me an opportunity to become more self-aware. It gives me something to teach. And many times my failures lead me to my greatest successes. I love that because I think the same thing about failure. And my tips for getting through failure are these, is that I think personal development has so much to do with this mindset and learning and remembering. It's crazy. It's like we have this self-sabotage or feeling like a fraud, or we just have this imposter syndrome where we feel like we have to have it all together. Like we know we don't, but we still don't act on things because we don't think we can be relatable. So for example, in the industry that I'm in the business that I'm in, anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. And so you don't have to be at your goal weight. And I have shared my story since the beginning where I hated fitness. I didn't eat clean and I was 35 pounds heavier. People know that. They see that. They see that I was a busy working teacher. They know that I was living paycheck to paycheck, but for some reason, the dots are not connecting to where that was, it just is so different and far-fetched from other people. Like, so for example, if I'm talking to someone, they'll just be like, well, I have to start my own journey first and lose weight first and then whatever. It's like, why? No, you don't. You're more relatable because you're going somewhere. You're more relatable because you're not choosing to stay stuck. Where I didn't wait for any kind of result. I just got moving, and people follow that. People feel connected to that type of journey, and we don't have it all together. So this fear of failure, so my example to that is it's like this, where we know successful people have failed, and yet it's still a fear of ours. Like, we know Oprah had massive amounts of failure. People told her that she wasn't good enough, right? She got demoted. We know that Sylvester Stallone was homeless and so broke he had to sell his dog, and he wrote the whole manuscript to Rocky, and they said the people he pitched it to didn't want to put him in the movie because he sounded stupid. And yet he just persevered. So we know these people that we look up to, or we've heard their stories, have had failure, but for some reason, the thought of us failing is the worst thing in the world. But really, when we start to work on our mindset around it, we realize that failure is just our way of breakthrough. Failure, really the only way to truly, truly fail at something is to quit and not try. But when we have setbacks and obstacles, those are our greatest lessons. And I just even think about being a mentor and leader. The reason I can lead people and mentor them the way that I have over these last 5 years are through my setbacks, are through my course corrections. And I just leaned in. I told my team the other day, don't let a little bump, or let's call it an annoying Lego, turn into this massive boulder. You're going to have bumps along the way, but you're on your way and you're going to figure it out. You're going to gain resilience. You're going to see a bigger picture, and it's going to be beautiful. The things that you were once afraid of before, or setbacks you had before, are no longer your issue because you've worked through them instead of suppressed them. And then this whole idea of the fear of judgment. Ooh, this one breaks my heart entirely, just because the opinions of other people, it doesn't pay your bills. The opinions of other people serve you in no way when you want to do something that sets your soul on fire. I was reading recently that so many people get so held back because they ask for permission and they ask what other people think before acting, and then they are pumped full of self-doubt. Because more than likely, people in your life are wanting you to not get hurt and play it safe and not do crazy things and go for opportunities. And then a lot of people also project their inadequacy and fear and insecurity onto you. And so the fear of the judgments of others. Oh, I've been there. I just feel like over the last 5 years, I just realized if I need to follow my gut, I need to follow my intuition, because that's always right. And it may not always be popular. And it wasn't at the time. People thought I was crazy. You're doing that. They judged me. And honestly, there were less judgments compared to supporters, which is great. But either way, I had to do what was best for me. I had to follow my heart, chase my dreams, because I was leaning into something that was making me feel healthier and happier. And if someone couldn't support that, that's on them. That's just someone having a tiny mind and a tiny life. And would I want to trade places with that person? No. And plus, I seek advice from people who are doing the things that I want to do, not seeking advice from people who are living in the way I don't want to live. So friend, this fear of judgment, of being yourself, living your life, this is our only life. So many of us are so afraid to post on social media. Maybe it's because you were once the judger, like you were judging people, but you knew it was deep down insecurity. Own it. Talk about it. What's the issue and problem around that? Do you know how many people would relate to you because you owned that and you're course correcting? Your mind has changed. Your mind has expanded. But so many people are so afraid to take action because they care so deeply about the opinions of others. And at the end of the day, no one really cares. And if they do, that's so sad. This is our one life. And you not going for it because of a potential fear, it's not a reality, is not worth it. You being able to live authentic and free and chasing your dreams, leveling up, doing what sets your soul on fire, no matter what, is the greatest gift you can give yourself, to where you will feel your absolute best, that you'll embrace failure, setbacks, all these things just because you know you're going for it and at least you're trying, because most people don't. I hope this spoke to you because, man, there's so many of us that have experienced these fears, and the only difference between the people who are going for it and not, it's not that they don't feel it, they do. It's just that they're willing to work through it. They're willing to lean through it. They're willing to take action anyway, despite the fear of failure, despite the potential judgments of others. Because living their life the way they want to live it is more important than both of those fears combined. And lastly, what do you have to gain by keeping your dreams a secret? What do you have to gain by minimizing your business, pretending you don't have one? What do you have to gain by not going for it because of the people around you? What do you have to gain by maybe failing and not getting there as soon as you are like you wanted to get there faster? Like, what do you have to gain by waiting? Nothing. You have nothing to gain. Friend, go for it. I'm going to pump you up full of that confidence. Just do it. Start that blog. Start that business. Go apply for another job. Go talk to that guy you've been wanting to talk to. Just do it, because that's living. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you could screenshot this, tag me on Instagram at Julianne Condia or at the Rewritten Society. Public House Media, thank you for just being a network that makes this podcast come to life. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. To the crew who listens, you are my heart. Thank you, and thank you for your messages and just telling me how this episode spoke to you. Have a good rest of your week.